Hello students and welcome to Crash Course 2.0 Learn to Grow. And today our chapter is fraction division. In simple words, today we shall learn how to divide fractions. So let's start. Dividing fractions and whole numbers. Multiplicative inverse. To divide a whole number by a fraction, we must know the meaning of multiplicative inverse. Two numbers are the multiplicative inverse mi of each other when the product is 1. For example, multiplicative inverse of 2 by 3 is 3 by 2 because 2 by 3 into 3 by 2 is equal to 6 by 6 is equal to 1. Dividing a whole number by a fraction. So first we have learned about what is mi, that is same like saying multiplicative inverse. And we understood from that the product must be 1, and how do we get it? When we inverse the fraction number. So like in this case it was 2 by 3, we were already 3 by 2 and the product was 1. We shall use this knowledge in the future to help us solve problem, to help us divide a given fraction. Now let's see dividing a whole number by a fraction. Mrs. Ibrahim had made 2 kg of apple jam. She's putting it into separate bottles of 1 by 4th kg each. How many bottles will she need? So we're going to have here 4 apple jam of 1 kg kept in 4 different bottles because we're going to have 1/4 in each of them, and another one same way. Thus requires in total 8 bottles. Yes, because in one bottle she has 1/4 of the kg, and in such way you will require 4 different bottles to preserve 1 kg of jam, 1 kg of apple jam, and similarly 4 more bottles for another kg of apple jam, and in total it requires 8 separate bottles of apple jams. The pictures tell you that she will need 8 bottles. You can divide 2 divided by 1 by 4 to get the answer. To divide a whole number by a fraction, how do we do this? In our fraction multiplication video, we learned about multiplying a whole number by a fraction. Now let's talk about how to divide a whole number by a fraction. And as you can see here, the number 2 is a whole number and the number 1 by 4 is our fraction. So let's see how to divide them both. Step number 1. Write the whole number as a fraction. Let's say I have a number 8. Can I write this number as in fraction by writing down 8 by 1? Yes, I can do that. It is same like saying 8. So similarly, I'm going to have here 2 by 1 divided by 1 by 4 to give me an answer. The first part is dividend and second part is divisor, isn't it? Yes. It is same like saying 8 divided by 2 or 8 divided by 2, where you have 8 to be dividend and 2 to be divisor. Correct? Okay. Number 2 step. Find the multiplicative inverse mi of the divisor. So you're going to have here mi of 1 by 4 is 4 by 1. Step number 3. Multiply the dividend and the mi of the divisor. That is going to be 2 by 1 into 4 by 1 is equal to 8 by 1. And finally, write the answer in the lowest terms. Therefore, answer is going to be 2 divided by 1 by 4 is equal to 8. Answer. Mrs. Ibrahim will need 8 bottles of 1 by 4 kg each. So here we have learned how to divide a fraction by a whole number following these 4 simple steps. Dividing a fraction by a whole number. So first we saw dividing a whole number by a fraction. That was like we had divided number 2 divided by 1 by 4. Now I want to see how to divide a given fraction, let's say 3 by 4, divided by 9. They both are not same, they both are different, isn't it? So how do we do this? Given to us question here, 3 by 4th bottle of orange juice has to be poured into 9 glasses. If an equal amount of juice has to be put into each glass, how much of the juice will each glass hold? We have to find out 34 divided by 9 is equal to how much? They are same like saying now I have a divide a fraction by a whole number, meaning in this case we have the fraction to be our dividend and our whole numbers to be our divisor. Correct? This is opposite of what you have seen before. Let's see how to do this. Given to us the 9 glasses of juice. Step number 1. Write the whole number as a fraction. There's a small mistake here. That is, you can divide, not whole number, we can divide a fraction by a whole number, okay? Because the topic is dividing a fraction by a whole number, yes? Now let's see how to do this. Number 1 step is write down the whole numbers as a fraction. We return here 3 by 4 divided by 9 by 1, and this 3 by 4 in our case right now is our dividend, and 9 by 1 is our divisor, okay? Very simple. Let's see now. And how we have got 9 by 1? Because we returned the whole number 9 as 9 by 1, which is the same as 9. There's no difference at all. It's expressing a whole number as a fraction because you want to divide now a fraction by a whole number. Number 2 step. Find the multiplicative inverse mi of divisor. So therefore, multiplicative inverse of 9 by 1 is going to be 1 by 9. Step number 3. Multiply the dividend and the mi of a divisor. Going to give me 3 by 4 into 1 by 9 is equal to 3 by 36. And then simplify them. Now I have 3 by 36 is equal to 1 by 12. Therefore, answer now is each glass will hold 1 by 12 of the juice in the bottle. Dividing fractions by fractions. So far we have learned number 1, dividing a whole number by a fraction. Number 2, dividing fraction by a whole number. Now let's see dividing fractions by fractions. How do you do this? Shritu has a piece of lace 8 by 9 of a meter long, and she wants to cut it into pieces that are 1 by 9 of a meter long. How many pieces will she get? First, let's think how many 9s we have in 8 by 9. So 8 by 9 divided by 1 by 9 should get the answer. To divide a fraction by a fraction, step number 1, we will find out the multiplicative inverse mi of divisor. That is, mi of 9 by 1 is 1 by 9. And as per you know, for a given 2 different fractions, here we're going to have the first part of a dividend and second part of a divisor. It is same like saying 8 by 9 is divided by 1 by 9. And if we have 8 by 2, we can have 8 as dividend, 2 as divisors. Here we have this part as dividend and this part as divisor. Step number 2. Multiply the dividend and mi of the divisor. So 8 by 9 into 9 by 1 is equal to 72 by 9. Number 3, simplify. And as per you know, 72 by 9 is equal to 8 by 1 is equal to 8. Answer. Shritu will get 8 pieces of lace. Today we have learned about dividing fractions and whole numbers and also about multiplicative inverse. As we come to the end of today's class, we have completed successfully our 5 videos on fractions playlist from grade 1 until grade 6. We learned about in the first video about fractions, what are fractions, what are equivalent fractions, how to convert a fraction to its lowest term and much more. In part 2 we learned about fractions addition, how to add like, unlike, proper, improper, and also about mixed numbers or fractions. In part 3 about subtraction of fractions. In part 4 about multiplication of fractions, and today we learned about division of fractions. If you haven't watched the full playlist, I advise you to watch the whole playlist to have a good idea and a proper knowledge about fraction as a whole, and then I can say you confidently that now you are a real math genius who knows everything about fraction from starting until the end. Thank you so much for watching my video so far. If you have liked this video, please do subscribe to my channel and share this video to your friends for those who would like to learn about fraction as well. Until then, keep learning.